What's good, everybody? We back with another retrospective. Woo! I'm a little late to do this, but I guess since every one of them have been kind of late, it should be expected by now. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the fall 2019 anime that I got to check out. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We got Sword Art Online, The Alicization War, Part 1, and it was interesting. Just seeing kind of where the story was going, and with Kirito being out of commission, and so basically Alice takes front, and seeing what's gonna happen with, since the people invaded the facility. What is the name of that company? Is it Rays? I feel that's wrong. It's with an R, but they invaded their facility, and now they jumped into the world too and causing trouble, since they're trying to capture the AI that is Alice. And just seeing how the new things that they do with the world there, and how they capture the characters, and can only make use of some of their super user accounts, abilities, or and stuff like that. It was really interesting, and I gotta say that it was definitely tolerable. I know a lot of people hate Sword Art Online, but it was still rather entertaining. I wasn't heavily offended by anything, and seeing some of the people's powers and stuff, and how they use their weapons, because we definitely got to see some more perfect weapon arts, and that was really cool. And seeing some of the fights they got into, and how they were choreographed and what happened in it was really interesting. So looking forward to part 2 of the Alicization War, of the War of the Underworld. I think it's the full title. But yeah, really cool. Enjoyed it. Fire Force finished up its season, and this show is still just so freaking beautiful and cool, and seeing even more new powers, and seeing what's happening with what is the name of that society? Basically like the white clad people, trying to get the Azola bursts, capture all the people with the Azola bursts, and seeing the usage of their powers getting to insane levels, along with Shinra's brother. It's insane, some of the stuff that you got to see, and just seeing how it's all connected, and them continually world building. It's really interesting. Really enjoyed it, and really looking forward to that next season. So My Hero Academia is back. It's still airing, so I won't speak too much on it. But My Hero Academia is My Hero Academia, and it's great. So what else? What else do I really need to say? Dr. Stone ended up wrapping up, and just continually seeing the growth, and how in the world they're going to create things that they need to prepare for the war against Mikasa is really, really interesting. And seeing if certain people are going to betray others, and seeing the mind games, and even looking back to the past to see what they left behind in the village is really interesting as well. It was a very, 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 very fun time checking out that. Now, on to Radiant, which is also currently airing. I feel like this show is slept on, bro. This show is so good. Like the world that they built here is really interesting, and the powers that they have in there, they're really exploring this new world, this new land, new to us, that is. Costlin Merland or something like that, and I never figured out how to properly pronounce it. But just seeing how things work in their land, in their country, their kingdom, and how there's almost kind of like two worlds there, because there's a forest that kind of takes them a bit to the past of that world, and seeing how what is his name? Why is his name escaping me? But the main character, seeing how he needs to learn how to control his powers, and seeing if they can figure out the connection between him and his so-called brother. And just recently got to a point in the winter season where you were finally getting to learn a little bit more about it. But since that is winter time, I won't speak too much more on that. But I really enjoy the world of Radiant, and I feel more people should be visiting it. So yeah, Black Clover, still enjoying it, and it just like seeing this fairy arc. I mean, not fairy, the elves arc. Yeah, is really really interesting, and the fights have been, it's just fights on fights on fights, and it's cool. And just recently, like the reveal of like this mastermind dude is just got me like so hyped. But that's more on the winter side of things. But the all like, just like freaking Maname Matt finally admitted, it's just like, yo, the show is good. It's like legitimately good now, and I'm happy that I don't have to try and catch up to it. Like I've been on it, and I've got to see it progressively get better as it goes on. And right now, I can tell you, man, it's so good. I enjoy it. Like the fights in there are so good. And what more do you need from a good old shonen? So yeah. Just seeing the powers develop, and the seeing how they make new uses of it, and it's cool. Excuse me. I really really dig the show. Now we got Cautious Hero. This is finally getting to more stuff that start and end in the fall season. So Cautious Hero. This show was hilarious. Another isekai show where, you know, dude gets summoned to this world, and it's just, it happens to be overly OP, and seeing how they upend some of those tropes, and even seeing the fact that with some of the world building that, you know, the goddess who was that summoned that hero has a strange connection to the hero that she summoned. It is really cool how that gets revealed, like how what the true connection is there, and seeing how that plays into it, and seeing just the ridiculous amount of power that that guy ends up getting, and how even the world that he is sent to save, how much him being overly cautious actually pays out, like pays off. Like it actually ends up being worth all of the cautiousness of him. It's really cool. It was a really fun watch. Then we get to No Guns Life, and this was really another really interesting show. Really gritty, but with a bit of humor splashed in there here and there. But just the world that they were building with the extendeds is really intriguing. And seeing how they deal with the evil corporation there, and and the different extensions they have and all the conspiracies that are going on too. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully going back into the world and seeing what they can do to go against the Beruin, maybe. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. It's like a I'm pretty sure it's like a German name. But yeah, really, really interesting show, and curious to. I really want to dive more into that world because I like it. I like the world they built. Still haven't tried to watch the second season of Fairy Gone, but I guess now that it's completely over with, like the dub is completely over with, I'll probably watch the dub. Even though I watched the first season subbed, it's just gonna be easier for me to get through it dubbed. It's so much easier for me to watch shows dubbed, especially if I'm gonna binge watch it. So maybe I'll see if the second season of Fairy Gone is any good. But if it's anything like the first season of Fairy Gone, it's just gonna be alright. Because when it comes to world building, I tell you one thing. When it comes to world building, they really did create a very extensive world in Fairy Gone. I just don't feel it's presented in the most interesting and even understandable way. Cause the way, like you could tell the way that the characters speak in the show is in a way where it kind of acts as if the audience is supposed to know. Like they tried it seems like they're trying their hardest to do the show not tell method of world building, but they're just not showing enough for us to put all the dots together. So then in certain spots they will go for more of the tell method of letting you know things, but it's just a lot of difficulty in building their world is really what I feel holds Fairy Gone back. But yeah, well, later on maybe I'll tell you guys if that changed any when I watched the second season. But yeah, the second season of Kono Oto Tamare what came out though, and I loved it. It was so good. Cause you even got to go into some of how the other schools in the competition trying to get to nationals are what their goals and their motivations are, and I really dug that. And then you even got to see a little bit of Hozuki's kind of rival from her old school run by her mom. And got to see how their relationship was throughout their lives, how it kind of a bit of admiration and then turns to disgust and then understanding, like seeing all of that and the way all the relationships change, and seeing how each team really put in so much effort to try and succeed in their craft, which is working on the koto. And it was a really fun ride seeing them compete for nationals. So if they do come back for a season 3, I'm definitely excited to see if they are able to win nationals. That'd be really cool to see, and hopefully they're able to kind of give some background to some of those other competing teams as well, though I feel it might be a little bit more difficult, being that they have to introduce them and give backstory all in the same season, unlike this season where we already kind of knew about these schools. We just got to learn more about the characters in those schools. But we'll see. We'll see how they handle it if they do a season 3 of Kono Otokamare. But I really enjoyed it, and the music's beautiful, and it was really great. Bokuben, the second season of Bokuben, was really entertaining. Some more really fun romantic antics, and it concluded pretty well with oh my gosh, I can't remember his name, with Naruyuki being I'm surprising myself how I remembering these names, because I still haven't gone into the descriptions to remember these names, so I'm sorry, I'm just impressing myself. But seeing how Naruyuki is able to kind of overcome some of his shyness, and the difference, when it comes to what he wants to do later in his life, and him really comes to the conclusions that he wants to be an educator, as his experience tutoring his fellow students has really made him realize that he has a passion for that kind of thing. It was really cool. And then also just seeing all the funny situations that they get put into, where it's just like, are you sure you don't like this guy? Are you sure you don't like this guy? Because you keep getting put in situations where it kind of makes you want to blush. And there is just a lot of other really coincidental incidents as well. But it's all in good fun. So even though it may not be believable, it's still very entertaining. So yeah, Bokuben was really fun. Oresuki was also a really fun kind of harem anime this season that did a lot to really subvert your expectations, and even though there's some tropes that it does go ahead and decide to fall into, it was still done in a very entertaining way that just made you be like, yo, what's gonna happen? Just seeing all the different love interests, and then even past love interests, and how it just kind of seems like the main character keeps becoming a sideline character instead of the main protagonist. It's funny how that keeps happening to him, and just how that's done is really cool. Now, his name I did actually completely forget, and I'm sorry. Sun-chan comes to mind, because everybody has a nickname that is way different than their actual name, but I know the names come from changes in the way it's spelled in Japanese with kanji. So anyway, really, Joro. It came to my mind. I still didn't do it. I still didn't click it. Joro. But yeah, Joro's funny. And even though he gets himself some ulterior motives at times, he's a genuinely kind-hearted dude, and that really shows throughout the show, and can make him a little more endearing. So yeah, dug that show quite a bit. Stars Align, that show, it was really fun. Towards the second half, the dramatic elements kind of fell to the wayside to make way for the sports, because being that this is a sports anime, it gave itself a bit of an edge with a bit of the more dramatic elements. But as you get further down the line and they get towards the like more tournament uh, portion, it really just goes straight sports, and you just hopefully can root for him. And then right after the tourney, you get way more of the dramatic elements again, and then it leaves you off on the dramatic end. And so then it's just like, wait, you're gonna end there? So now you really, it really makes you want to look. Really makes you want a second season to see where the story continues on from there. Because I tell you, these kids are going through it, man. They're going through it. Whether it be like financial or parental relationships, they're going through it, bro. And I just hope that they can make it through and still succeed as the Soft Tennis Club. And I guess that's all I got. Sheesh. I still have to finish watching the second season of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, so I don't have much to say on it because I've only got to see like maybe 2 of those episodes. Because I feel like it started really late, but maybe that's just because they only have the dub version on Funimation. But oh my gosh! So I'm not done. There is one more series I need to talk to you about, because this one, it happens to be on Netflix. It finally came out of Netflix jail, so the second half of Carol and Tuesday, bro, was so great. It was so good. There's so much good music, and like the way they tell the tale of budding musicians is just so freaking awesome, and I relate to it so much because music is my life. But yeah, so good. Seeing how even just how Tuesday's relationship with her mom being in the political sphere is really interesting, and seeing corruption there and how they're gonna figure out how to stop like her kind of stance in the campaign, being that it's gonna cause a lot of issues for Carol and Tuesday themselves, because Carol is a refugee on Mars, and so that would be an issue if they decide to, deport everybody who's, not a technical Martian. So it was really interesting, like that little side story, and then also just trying to, now that Carol and Tuesday have, even though they didn't win the competition, they got that a great amount of exposure, seeing how they're gonna try and create their first album and even put together a cool event with all of the different musicians they come by. It's really cool to see how they're gonna have that happen, and it's really relatable to me because being a independent musician myself, just seeing and knowing a lot of people in that world, seeing all the different steps being presented in anime form is really cool, because I know some people who wouldn't really think about it otherwise. And even just listening to the music, like I need to get these soundtracks, is amazing, because they cover so many different genres, and the music is great. I just want to jam to it all in all the genres. It's good. Yeah. So that's my look back on the fall of 2019 anime, and let me go ahead and give you kind of what I'm watching for this winter. Still continue to watch My Hero Academia. Still gonna continue to watch Black Clover. Magia Record, the Puella Magi Modica Magica side story. What a mouthful! I am watching that right now, and that seems to be pretty darn interesting. Just seeing how they're continuing to build upon this world with, there's being a whole new set of characters, and seeing how this new area is going to develop, being that it's a little bit tougher than your typical area dealing with the witches and all that kind of stuff. Also watching Plunderer, which is very entertaining. Definitely has a lot of ecchi elements, along with some pretty cool action as well. And it really gives me a kind of a desert punk kind of feel, especially since the main character is voiced by the same guy. As the guy in Desert Punk. Name is escaping me right now. But yeah, it's really cool. I I'm enjoying that so far right now. Then Bofuri is so cute and so interesting. Just seeing this girl be able to moe her way out of all these situations with her just bulking up her defense. And so I gotten to the point where her friend finally got to join her in the game, and seeing how she is going to end up becoming OP as well. It's going to be interesting, since they're going two kind of different routes, being one that's super inexperienced and one that is super experienced, yet is still taking a less traveled route of play. So I'm really interested in seeing where that's going to go. Infinite Dendrogram is another RPG kind of game, show that I'm also enjoying, because it's really taking those RPG elements very very seriously, and is creating a pretty cool video game world that I am looking forward to seeing them explore, because I like the different aspects of it, how they try to really make it a realistic world, yet knowing there needs to be actual game limitations in there too. I really like how they balance those, being that, the people within the world, like the NPCs in that world, the TMs, they actually can die, and that has lasting effects, and that helps make it a whole lot more realistic, and how any kind of quest can just stumble itself upon you no matter what level you are at. That's cool, because all these events happen at the same time, but also balancing the game elements, being the fact that you can die in this game. It's okay. You're just going to be locked out of the game for 3 days. So that's a really cool little aspect, where it's just like, okay, you still get to play it kind of like it's a game, but yet there's some realistic options that make you be able to take it seriously as well. I like that cool balance that they kind of developed in it, and I'm looking forward to see what else they will show off in that world there. Id Invaded is a very interesting series so far. Really psychological seinen kind of show, where you just kind of try to figure out the mind of these psychopaths and serial killers, and very interesting sci-fi way of explaining it, and I'm really curious to see where this is going, because it can easily turn itself to crap or turn itself into greatness. It's really on a hit or miss kind of basis, where it's just like, where are you gonna go with this show? Like with each episode, it's just gonna be like, ooh, how are we gonna go? Is it still gonna be enjoyable, or is it just gonna get to a point where like, yo, this is stupid? But So far, it's good. Four episodes in. That's how far I am. Then Radiant is still going on, as I talked about earlier. People freaking sleeping on it, and people need to continue watching it because this junk is good, based on a dang on French show or the comic, and it's good. The French know what they're doing. Darwin's Game is very interesting. This kind of almost battle royale kind of edgelord game thing. Really interesting. So far, still enjoying it because it's really interesting to see what different powers these people end up having, since each of them have a sigil or whatever or power that helps them in their different games that they end up having. So we got to see a couple of one-on-one games, and now we're in a battle royale kind of setting. So we're going to see how this turns out with them trying to collect these rings and seeing how everybody leverages their sigils against each other. So it's going to be really interested to see how this one turns out. Also watching The Sorcerer's Stab or Orphan. I heard this is a remake, but so far it's been weird, because it feels like it started off like in the middle of the story, and then this last episode that just happened, I think it was episode 3, it ended in a way where I was just like, wait, what? What? So this arc that I thought was going to be the whole series just kind of ended there, and it also ended in a way I didn't expect. So now I'm just like, well, where are we going to go from here? So I'm still on the fence about how this series is going to be. The action in it is kind of cool, but the story itself is kind of wobbly, and I'm like, if it ends up dropping the ball somewhere within the next couple episodes, I may have to drop it. But for right now, it's still entertaining enough for me to try and figure it out. What else is here? Interspecies reviewers. I'm sorry, I'm trash. I'm watching this ecchi nonsense, and it's hilarious. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, that's all I'm watching right now. I may see if there's something else on Netflix that I'll check out. There's still stuff on Amazon that I need to catch up on because I didn't finish Babylon, so I need to finish Babylon. There's other things on Amazon that I need to finish. Like I haven't started the Vinland Saga either. I heard that was really, really great, so I need to watch it. But that's kind of what's on my watch list right now. And my quick thoughts of what happened in 2019. So yeah, tell me what your guys' thoughts are on these shows and the current shows airing. Yeah, that's it.